Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I make videos about how to gain your personal power while learning ancient secrets, and if that sounds like something that you're into, please hit the like button and subscribe and gain insight from this perspective in the cosmos. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about these entities that are called the Qlippoth. To understand this, you would need to understand Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. If you want more information on Kabbalah, you could check out my video titled What is Kabbalah? And you can click the top right corner of the screen to watch that if you'd like. We're going to talk briefly about Kabbalah and the Tree of Life in this video too. The simple explanation of the Qlippoth is that these are entities that feed off of divine energy. They are kind of parasitic. One might compare these to demonic entities. The Qlippoth represents evil forces that are drawing power from divinity. These energies are about concealing divinity and harvesting or even inverting the power of it. Demons, on the other hand, are energies that are very similar to angels. In order to understand this, it would be necessary to understand what an angel is. An angel is an energetic construct that governs reality. An angel is an aspect of God's consciousness. And because you are God, or the universal consciousness that is embodied in a vessel that we call a human, then an angel is not just an aspect of God's consciousness. It's also an aspect of your consciousness. As above, so below. Divinity is what your consciousness is, and working with angels means you're working with higher aspects of your consciousness. Demonic entities are the same things, but on a more animalistic side. These are much more dark and shadow-like entities within us that have not yet been brought into light. The point in understanding and working with those is to master your demons. If they're never worked with and integrated, then those demonic entities take control of consciousness, aka possession. Demonic entities are not some external energies that latch onto us and try to control us. And angels aren't external energies that you pray to try to get what you want. If you really understand this stuff, then you'll see that these energies are internal, and working with them is working with those aspects of God's consciousness. Some of those aspects are light and positive, and some of those aspects are dark and animalistic. This is life. This is representative of higher aspects of consciousness and lower aspects of consciousness. You can see this reflected in the physical structure of the brain. We have this prefrontal cortex, which is all about our higher states of consciousness. This is our higher functioning. It's our big processing center, and it's responsible for much of our personality. It has a lot to do with focusing our attention, empathy, and impulse control. Our lower states of consciousness are represented by the reptilian brain. These are necessary aspects of consciousness, but they are more basic. These are things like motivations, instincts, impulses, pleasures, aggression, and survival. Most of this really revolves around survival, and when we are cut off from our higher states of consciousness, then we are not able to really have control over these lower aspects and keep them in check. You may notice how some people don't engage with their higher aspects of functioning, and they're easier possessed by these basic animalistic qualities. This is a state that could be called base consciousness. Again, these lower aspects aren't inherently evil, and their function is that of survival. These higher aspects must be consciously worked with and integrated so that we can have the strength to withstand working on the lower aspects. This is one of the secrets of magic and alchemy, which can be about the union of opposites. There is a balance that needs to be gained. We aren't all positive and we aren't all negative. If we're talking about entities that are attaching to our life force and feeding off of our consciousness, then we might be talking about these qlippothic entities, which are the embodiment of evil energies. The qlippoth actually means shell or husk. And this shell is only surviving by funneling in divine light to feed it. This is the big difference. Demonic energies don't exactly work that way. Feeding qlippothic entities are like feeding something that is void of life and it's void of consciousness. The qlippoth are energies that are described as part of the Jewish mystical tradition called Kabbalah. In this tradition, God is viewed as source consciousness and pure awareness. This could be represented by the first sephirah on the Tree of Life called Kether. This God light descends through these other sephirot into the manifestation of the physical reality. Everything in the physical reality contains this God light. Each sphere on this tree represents an aspect of this God light. It is an aspect of God's consciousness. Since each of us are God light within a human body, we contain this tree. This represents aspects of our consciousness, so remember, this is just one system that describes the breakdown of consciousness and manifestation, and there are others that do this. This is a system that can be used to understand the self, unlock new truths, and be utilized for transformation. Bear with me as I describe the qlippoth because this is a very simplistic description. Within the Kabbalistic tradition, the creation process is described as this God light descending through these vessels, the 10 Sephiroth. Creation took many attempts to create the reality that we know today. In the first attempts, the vessels were not strong enough to hold this powerful divine light. The story is that these vessels shattered and creation had to begin again and again. This happened until the vessels were able to hold this God light. The shards of the vessels that broke are called the qlippoth, and these are the representation of evil. You could view these as incomplete aspects that are trying to feed off of the light. These energies can be associated with demons, but remember that these are not the same as the 72 goetic entities or the 72 angels of the Shem. These are energies that are more like the Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. Just as we have the Tree of Life, there's also a Tree of Death or the qlippothic tree. This tree is the inversion of the Tree of Life. There are 10 spheres, but they represent the shadow side. These are the negative counterparts to the Tree of Life Sephiroth. These are the dark aspects of consciousness, and this is the deep shadow side of the universe. But this is still a part of the universe. The goetic entities are the 72 shadows of the 72 angels of the Shem, but with the qlippoth, we're talking about the shadows of the Sephiroth, the shadows of the modalities of creation. The inversion of this might show the modalities of destruction. Now, this does appear as evil, but destruction is a part of the creative process. Many occultists advocate for exploring these energies to help bring a balance between the light and the dark. This is like exploring the shadow self, exploring the subconscious, or exploring the primal energies of self. The intent is to transform the self. We dive into the underworld for an experience that holds a certain wisdom or truth. That must be integrated with a higher wisdom. This is that secret of alchemy and magic of the union of opposites. However, it's very important to note that these qlippothic energies can obviously be abused. They can be used to fill the primal self's desires and feeding the ego. The life force energy of Kether, the godlight, is being pulled far away from the higher energies of the Tree of Life. It appears to be split off and temporarily autonomous as it dwells within these darker vessels. The function of these vessels is to survive and keep feeding off of that light. This is of course geared more towards survival. It reminds me a little bit of the way that Eckhart Tolle describes the pain body or how he describes the ego. The light of consciousness becomes a little bit more dormant as this energy is flowing toward and feeding the pain body. He calls this unconsciousness. When people live in that state of unconsciousness, they appear to be driven mad, angry, possessed, and lost. When we are able to observe that we're being unconscious, the light of awareness shines into that unconsciousness, and that unconsciousness becomes consciousness again. This is where the two merge into one, and this is the art of alchemy from that perspective. There's so much more to say about this topic, but I don't like to get too much into it here, as this is something that I don't recommend diving into this early on in your journey if you're in ceremonial magic. Now, if you're starting working with ceremonial magic, definitely start working with the 4 elements. And if you want to know more, I do have a course on this, and the link is in the description. And there are plenty of videos on this channel that have to do with ceremonial magic. My live course on Kabbalah starts on August 26th, so make sure to sign up for that soon if you're interested. I won't be offering this again until November. Make sure to check out the links in the description below for my Qabalah course, tarot course, and the new ceremonial magic course. The course on tarot is focused on the card's relationship with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, which is something that most courses in tarot don't offer. I do offer one-on-one coaching as well, so feel free to set up a session with me if you'd like. Check out the link in the description below for more information as well as to where you can book a tarot reading with me. And if you want access to exclusive content and live streams, the link to my Patreon is also in the description. And I hope there was something new that you were able to take away from this video. If so, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.